What's up guys, it's Endymion, and today I want to explore the cosmos beyond the world of Elden Ring and how the Academy of Raya Lucaria came to be and the inhumane lengths the sorcerers went to in order to harness the power of the stars. And later on in the video, I'll try to explain who the mysterious Lord of Night really is, so let's begin. Raya Lucaria is an academy of sorcery led by Rennala, the Carrion Queen. These mages were assembled to study the cosmos, and they believed that the destinies and fates of individuals were dictated by the very stars themselves. And it seems, in the case of Elden Ring at least, that this is true, since in order for Lunar Princess Ranni to fulfill her destiny, you must end her brother Radahn in combat so his stranglehold on the stars is finally released. And the cosmos can flow naturally, and the destinies of beings like Ranni can resume their proper course. This concept of stars determining one's fates is further explored in the item called Stargazer Heirloom, which states, "A talisman engraved with the legend of a queen. The young astrologer gazed at the night sky as she walked. She had always chased the stars every step of her journey. Then she met the full moon, and in time the astrologer became a queen." So it seems Rennala may have been chosen by the stars themselves to usher in a new era where the influence of the cosmos would gain footing within the lands between. There were also other high-profile sorcerers like Lusat and Azur who also sought to understand the infinity within the abyss, the Stars of Ruin spell states. When Lusat glimpsed into the primeval current, he beheld the final moments of a great star cluster, and upon seeing it, he too was broken. So according to this, the sorcerer Lusat not only was able to peer into the abyss and the darkness beyond it, but what he saw was so indescribable and vast that his mortal mind was shattered by the event. This concept of mortals trying to understand the origins beyond our wildest dreams is not new to FromSoftware, as of course we have Bloodborne to thank for all this craziness. In Bloodborne, like Raya Lucaria and Elden Ring, the College of Byrgenwerth is founded by various scholars like Master Wilhelm in order to create a foundation for understanding the Great Ones, which are interdimensional alien beings that wish to influence and mold the human race into something more. Of course, the intervention of cosmic alien beings goes about as weird as you'd expect, with the introduction of malignant masses of monsters and even religious fundamentalists seeking to understand these Great Ones in order to push themselves far beyond mortal limits. In Bloodborne, the scholars of Byrgenwerth go as far as to mutilate themselves by layering their inner skulls with the eyeballs of other humans in order to understand the infinity held within. The Great Ones who watch the progress in Bloodborne, for example, are called amygdalas, which is named after the part of the brain that processes emotions like fear. So in terms of Elden Ring, FromSoftware has gone and taken this idea of self-mutilation and transformation in a similar but different direction. In Elden Ring, the glintstone is considered to be the vitality of the stars, and peering into and understanding these crystals helps the sorcerers of Raya Lucaria in understanding the origins and potential of the primeval current and its bewitching powers. The sorcerers of Raya Lucaria would end up modifying themselves, much like the scholars of Byrgenwerth and Bloodborne, by replacing their flesh with crystals so they could become more like the stars themselves. This would result in sorcerers having vastly increased lifespans and also causing sorcerers like Lusat or Azur, or in the case of Ranni, going as far as killing her own mortal body so she was no longer under the influence of the greater will, so she could usher in an age of stars under the guidance of the moon and the cosmos. This act of body modification would result in horrors like this sphere of corpses hidden in Raya Lucaria, which holds the Graven Mages. The Graven Mask Talisman states, "A talisman depicting the first school of Graven Mages, a nightmare that would continue to haunt the Academy. The primeval current is a forbidden tradition of glintstone sorcery. To those who cleave to its teachings, the act of collecting sorcerers to fashion them into the seeds of stars is but another path of scientific inquiry." This act of melding the bodies of various sorcerers into malformed seeds of stars was seen as blasphemous by many, but to the most adept amongst the sorcerers, the inhumane melding of flesh and glintstone was seen as beautiful and a fundamental step towards becoming one with the cosmos. There are even beings you can face within the various depths of the lands between, known as Crystallians. They're beings made of pure crystal. The Shattering Crystal spell tells us more, and it states, "The Crystallians are inorganic beings, yet they live. They cleave close to the ideals of the primeval current, and as such, they are revered guests of the sorcerers. So it seems these crystal beings are quite literally individuals made out of the stars, and so they are revered by the Raya Lucarian sorcerers because they represent what the sorcerers see as an ideal state of existence, being made of pure glintstone instead of the weaknesses of mortal flesh. The Crystallians' origins, however, they hint at something greater. The crystal spear states, "Spear fashioned from pure crystal, a deed impossible for a human. The inscrutable Crystallians have but one clear purpose, to safeguard their crystals onto the end. One theory posits that they yearn for the return of their creator who will carve for them new brethren." This connection of crystals and attuning oneself to the stars seems to hint at some sort of outer god that exists outside the cosmos, and whatever this outer god is, its existence is that of sheer, indescribable horror. The spell Comet Azur states, "When Azur glimpsed into the primeval current, he saw darkness. He was left both bewitched and fearful of the abyss." This description, combined with the Stars of Ruin, seems to suggest that whatever is out there amidst the stars is something so incredible yet terrifying to fathom, that the mere realization of its existence tears even the most adept minds amongst humanity to shreds. But it seems all this body modification, graven mass lunacy, and following of the moon all leads to something out there within the abyss known simply as the Lord of Night. The Nox Monk Bracelets gives us a glimpse and states, "Long ago the Nox invoked the ire of the greater will and were banished deep underground. Now they live under a false night sky in eternal anticipation of their liege, of the coming age of the stars, and their Lord of Night." The city of Nokron and its people were punished by the Greater Will because they were trying to replace it with their own lord. It seems that by helping Ranni, the Chosen Tarnish can bring this about, and here's a fun fact for you. Apparently, the Age of Stars ending is the most popular ending amongst Elden Ring players. It was chosen even more so than the default Age of Fracture ending. So it seems Ranni got her wish granted more frequently by the community than any other ending. Just thought you'd like to know that. But the people of Nokron, known as the Nox, were trying to create their own lord in secret so that they could challenge Marika and the Greater Will in order to usurp their rule and bring about the Lord of Night's reign. We know they were trying to create their own lord thanks to the Mimic Tear Ashes, which states, "This spirit takes the form of the summoner to fight alongside them, but its mimicry does not extend to imitating the summoner's will. Mimic tears are the result of an attempt by the Eternal City to forge a lord." But who is this Lord of Night? Unfortunately, there is no definitive answer yet, but the popular theory amongst the community seems to be that the Lord of Night might be the moon itself. We know at the very least that the moon is paramount in the trajectory of glintstone sorceries and their power reaching the lands between. The Moon of Nox Stella states, "This legendary talisman is a treasure of Nox Stella, the Eternal City. This talisman represents the lost Black Moon. The Moon of Nox Stella was the guide of countless stars. So the moon apparently was the guide, the nexus point for the stars to be guided along their journeys. So whatever the Lord of Night is, it could be an outer god that is either the moon itself, it could also be a being that lives within the moon, or it could be something that exists outside of the metaphysical realms of time and space, like an interdimensional being like the Great Ones in Bloodborne, which I personally believe to be the true answer. Of course, I can't prove that yet with the information we have, so theories will have to do for now. Of course, you're welcome to let me know what you think of the Lord of the Night in the comments below too, and let me know if you want me to explore the Lord of Night in its own video, cause I got some wild theories. But it seems the blasphemous experiments and complete lack of humanity amongst the sorcerers of Raya Lucaria were all meant to allow the sorcerers the means to obtain immortality and to shed their mortal bodies and ascend into godhood. Which sounds a lot like Bloodborne to me, but what do I know? But if there's one definitive truth, it's that there's something out there in the darkness of the cosmos watching the events unfold upon the lands between. And it all began when the cosmos spoke to a young woman one night and showed her the beauty of the stars. Well, that's the video on the horrors of Raya Lucaria and a little bit on the Lord of Night. Let me know what you think and let me know what you want to see next. Thanks to my patrons as always for their support, and I'm Endymion. I'll see you in the next one.